friends, this is Dolynny TV. Glad to have you aboard this evening as we get set up to discuss, well, one man, Stuart Skinner, and the problem that Edmonton Oilers fans have when it comes to our starting goaltender, a guy who has assumed the reins from Jack Campbell at the midway point of last year, one might say, as he came in, started the playoffs for us. Kind of, well, had a rough go. Obviously, had a much better regular season this year, one might argue, and now through one round and a game is once again a huge question mark for a lot of Edmonton Oilers fans. I will caution, I am not saying Stuart Skinner is a question mark, and that is what we are going to explore here in today's video because, obviously, well, what do we know? Stuart Skinner gave up 5 goals last night. The Oilers scored 4 goals. I think it was Patrick from the Oilers Fanatic putting it to me after work today. Anytime you score 4 in the playoffs, you can't lose that hockey game. So when it comes down to it, how much do you blame on Stuart Skinner? How much do you blame on the defense? That's not up for me to tell you. That's for you to figure out for yourself and weigh for yourself. But my big problem here, the problem for Edmonton Oilers fans, is they are so quick. We are so quick as a bunch to jump on a guy for being the reason, right? I think back in 17, a lot of folks wanted to run Jordan Eberle out of town because, oh my God, right? And then all of a sudden, right over the years, you've had other guys kind of run out of town, whether it be Mike Smith, whether it be Mikko Koskinen, right? We've tried to do it with Jack Campbell. He's still around. We've done it now for a couple of seasons now with Stuart Skinner. Anytime he has a bad game, we're on him, but nobody praises him. Nobody that criticizes him after a bad game goes out there and praises him for a good game. I can tell you that much for sure. But it's just wild to me that every time something goes wrong, Oilers fans are looking for someone to blame. But every time something goes right, there really isn't an assessment of, oh, maybe we blamed those guys too quick or maybe we didn't. And you can argue, hey, Tyson, you can argue, end of the day, book is out on Stuart Skinner. We know what he is. Your point is moot. But again, I'm going to sit here and say it's game 1, right? If we're talking the Oilers just got swept in game 4 and they had a 4-1 lead and got destroyed 5-4 in the regulation time, okay, maybe a different conversation we're having 5-6 days from now, okay? Maybe we'll have that. Maybe we won't. But it's game 1. And I think everybody that is jumping on Stuart Skinner right now saying he's the worst goalie out there, he's the reason the Oilers aren't going to win the playoffs, it's whatever. It was Dennis Bernstein on the big show down here in Calgary on Sportsnet 960 today saying that for the entire Western Conference, there is not a good goalie in the Western Conference. I mean, Jake Ottinger's got just as many bright spots as bad spots. You've got Georgiev, who is just a huge question mark for the Colorado Avalanche. You've got in that a third string Silvas who gave up 4 goals for the Vancouver Canucks last night. And then you got Stuart Skinner, right? Yeah, I think when you rank it, it probably goes Ottinger, Georgiev, toss up between Skinner and Silvas, depending on which side of the spectrum you are, whether you're in BC or Alberta. But it's one of those things, friends, is I don't know why we have to throw our guy under the bus and scapegoat him for all our problems in Stuart Skinner when realistically Stuart Skinner has given us for the majority of his career as an Edmonton Oiler a decent chance at winning. And again, last night was not a pullable performance, right? If anything was questionable about giving up 5 goals against the Vancouver Canucks, it was the fact that when the game was tied, Chris Knobloch, a rookie head coach in the NHL playoffs against a veteran, hey, where have we heard that before in Oilers history recently? Doesn't call a timeout when it becomes 4-4. But yeah, it's just frustrating to me because, again, we saw what happened after game 2 in LA for Stuart Skinner. He comes back with 4 goals against in the next 3 games combined. So what, a .133 goals against average, an astronomical save percentage with a shutout thrown in there, and basically just stomps the door shut on the Kings, and the series is over just like that, right? I think it was kind of actually shocking to some extent as an Oilers fan to watch where we were at the end of game 2 to how quickly the series was over in game 5. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be the case here in this one against the Canucks. The Oilers will, mark my words, lose at least one more game in this series. But if the Oilers obviously get the goaltending they got in those back 3 games out of Skinner and get maybe a game where he's not as sharp but still win, the Oilers are going to do this thing in 6 or 7, no problem. But again, like I said, not the Oilers will destroy the Vancouver Canucks. It's an if thing. And this is not a series that is going to come down all the way on Stuart Skinner. I mean, yeah, sure, if the guy's giving up 8 goals a game, 100% it's all on Stuart Skinner. But if the Oilers are losing each game 5-4, 6-5, 7-6, 6-4, whatever the case might be, it's not all Stuart Skinner's fault. Yeah, you need a big save once in a while, but guess what? The Oilers did get that. Everybody tends to forget here that right out of the gate last night, the Oilers, after going up 1-0, surrendered a breakaway to the Canucks that Stuart Skinner robbed the guy one-on-one in a situation where a million times we have watched Stuart Skinner give up the goal. Stuart Skinner slammed the door shut to keep it 1-0 in that first period on a blocker save on the backhand there for the Canucks. So that is a big thing everyone seems to be forgetting out of game number 1, is that Stuart Skinner had some big saves. He made good saves in the hockey game. Yes, do you want him to have maybe 2 or 3 of the ones that he didn't? Sure. But again, there's a lot of other arguable points in the Oilers game. And again, I'm not saying that Stuart Skinner's perfect. I'm not saying he's the reason the Oilers will win a cup. I'm not saying he's going to save the day. What I'm saying here is the fans that are criticizing Skinner today and last night will not be the fans that praise Skinner if he wins game 2, because that is just not in their vocabulary. And I'm sure there's a ton of you that really like watching Dolynny TV and enjoy interacting with me, and are those folks that criticize Stuart Skinner quite heavily. But again, I think it's fair to ask, when you've got a goaltender for your team that is capable of producing somewhat Jekyll and Hyde performances like Stuart Skinner is, that you can't only glance at him badly. You have to glance at those starring performances that Skinner can put in as well and tip your cap and say, good work, kid, because end of the day, the Oilers are committed to this guy for the next 2 years at least, and he's a good enough goalie. You don't win 36 games in the NHL by accident in a regular season. He's a good enough goalie to keep you in it as much as the offense and defense wants to play the game, right? I mean, Stuart Skinner doesn't shoot the puck on net. There's no excusing going 22 minutes of a playoff hockey game without a shot on net, no matter how good the Canucks defense is. So friends, I'm Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. Thanks for being aboard. But that is my big problem for Edmonton Oilers fans, is how quick they are to jump on Stuart Skinner versus how long it takes them to praise a good performance by him. So again, right, once bitten, twice shy, I understand that. But again, it's just one of those things, is I'm not expecting Skinner to win us the cup all by himself. There's plenty of other guys capable of producing some results for the Oilers, where Stuart Skinner doesn't have to keep it 1-0 every single game like I think so many people are expecting him to. Friends, I'm up on out of here. Thanks for being aboard. Have a great evening. We'll talk tomorrow for the live stream. See you bright and early for getting that up, and we're up on out of here.